Two interviewees who hadn't communicated in advance actually said the same number. They thought it was a scam, but the scientists knocked it down. The scientists knocked dozens of times, and the numbers they recited were all the same. Even more ridiculous is, not only did the scientists say the same number, but everyone in the room spoke in unison. It turns out, the scientists discovered their world was fake. Everything was randomly generated by a computer, and to expose the truth, the scientist was even covered in bombs. But no matter how he advised, Bell didn't believe at all, and instead thought they were all crazy. The scientist raised his last glass, about to die heroically. Who knew that little fatty pulled Bill away? And as the countdown ended, the scientists were willing to be blown up. At the explosion, the two escaped behind the light gate, only to unexpectedly discover each door was linked to another space. Little Fatty didn't believe it was a virtual world. He reached out past the projection. To his surprise, it instantly turned into data. He screamed desperately that he didn't want to die, yet his body uncontrollably transformed into cool. Bell was instantly stunned. He couldn't help but want to try it too. However, reason awakened at the last second, but Bill could never have imagined. This world originated from a book. The Book of Truth was first obtained by the cult. Most who read it chose to end their lives. Only one madman survived. To unlock its secrets, the Pope traveled from Vatican City to England. He had intended to ask the knowledgeable doctor, but was outright refused. Until one of his subordinates presented a case from the book, the doctor only then realized the variety of the situation. Clearly, the cult understood this language. It died with them. Their old version translation vanished. Shortly after their collective extermination, he instantly thought of his partner's safety. He never imagined Bill was partying with friends. Just as she was pouring coffee, she surprisingly heard the sound of brakes. Bill rushed out the door and looked, only to find the Pope in his bedroom. An Italian. As Bill was puzzled, his friends hurried over at the sound, looking at the Pope right in front of me. Joe, I couldn't take it in. Then he quickly ran out. Bill angrily entered the time machine, telling the doctor not to bring clutter next time. To her house, Uncle 12 would usually have no theory. Instead, he calmly said, "Cut it. Let's let Calpon explain it to you." Calpon intended to reveal everything about the doctor's blindness, but Uncle 12 shook his head. So, after explaining the situation, they arrived at the cult's black library. It contains many strange things. Without a guide, one could completely get lost inside. Subordinate led the way. Barely walked a few steps when a blue light appeared. It seemed like there was a shadow inside, but no sound came from it. The doctor scanned it with sonic glasses, but saw a bunch of terrifying predators. Before he could identify the species, that sphere of light suddenly disappeared, and the doctor had hurried to find that book. As he was nearing the hall, a man suddenly charged out. He held a gun and kept trembling. "I seen the book." "What's in the book?" It turned out he was the only person who had read the book and survived. Watching the man break free from the cage, Bill intended to chase after him, but Calpon put him back. Because no one could afford the cost of getting lost here, and to unravel the secret of self-destruction, the doctor turned on a computer on the desk. Unexpectedly, besides the cult members, even the scientists who have read a few pages would actually believe in something supernatural. A group of materialist atheists are turning to God in prayer. The time the doctor was searching, a strange sound came from afar. The doctor looked through his glasses. The man who went crazy had actually lost his heartbeat. He immediately sent Bill to check, while he connected his device to the book and plugged the line into his brain. He wanted to deplete future vitality, and exchange for a moment of clarity. Perhaps after the next rebirth there will be less. But Uncle 12 had no choice. Just as he regained a bit of vision, a blurry figure approached from a distance. "Did you bring a friend?" As the doctor found himself in danger, Bill also found the crazy man who was holding by his hand. That moment, light suddenly exploded behind him, like a beam of light. Bill slowly walked in, and ended up in a busy office. A woman immediately asked, "Do you have access to the third floor?" "What access?" "Access to the Pentagon." No one had expected this. They actually arrived at the guard. They had word of a Pentagon. Seeing the staff's self-friendly expression, the two quickly withdrew behind a portal. But strangely, they ended up in an independent space. Inside were many portals, and behind each door lay a heavily guarded secret. The two casually entered one, but they were met by a whiskey-drinking scientist. It turned out they, with cutting-edge technology, had already uncovered the world's anomalies, so they intended to use that to fight against the mastermind behind it all, even if it was just a pile of computer data. They had the pride of being human. As the explosion echoed, the scientist defended his last shred of dignity, and the doctor, who also discovered the truth, had discovered his email. Inside was a message titled, "Shadow Test." Until this moment, they finally realized the truth. Everything was just a game. As the doctor's vision partially restored, a swarm of rat-clad figures appeared. They had dry hands and faces as gaunt as skeletons. In this life-and-death crisis, the doctor secretly turned off the lights remotely, struggling forward in the darkness. Just as he was ambushed, with multiple injuries to his body, a portal of light appeared before him. The doctor knew this was his only hope for survival, though he didn't know which door 12 Uncle had chosen. The blood on the brow led towards Bill. Following the markings on the brow, she found the light, but she entered a luxurious office. The floor was scattered with pills, and the headset a familiar silhouette. Bill slowly turned on the light, but was shocked to see it was the dead president. She didn't know if it was the doctor's doing, so she asked, "I need to know what's real and what's not." "Oh, come on, don't play games. The truth of the matter is, there's a group of evil demons wanting to conquer the world. It turns out this is a demon invasion. If they want to take over the world, they need a realistic simulation, and that book of truth. Anyone who reads it knows the truth of the matter. and then questions the authenticity of the world. They will write the same numbers in the same order, because only in a simulation computer will numbers not be randomly generated. So after realizing that reality is virtual, they all went crazy, but collapsed mentally upon hearing this. She had also written those repeated numbers that the doctor stated. He had also written them. When a simulated subject gains enough intelligence, what will he do? Just like Super Mario in the game. To avoid dying repeatedly, he would ultimately choose to delete himself, but those still didn't believe it. Just as she was about to retort, her hand suddenly turned into cold. Unfortunately, the blind doctor didn't know what was happening. What's wrong with you? Save me! After Bill died, the figure of the red man appeared. He said he had slaughtered the simulated world countless times, and every time was a victory. Even if the doctor suffered, he was merely a piece of data, as that became inevitable. The doctor slowly took out his wife's diary. He had never believed in God before, but now he had no other choice. After praying, the doctor shouted at the red man, "I am the doctor! You are the greatest obstacle to occupying Earth. You are not a doctor, not even a real one. Anyone can be a doctor." Though it's only simulated data, it has the same courage as a doctor. After extracting memories from the last few hours, he stored them in the sonic goggles. Before the man realized it, he sent it off as an email. After the virtual world was destroyed, the real doctor received an email. When he learned the truth, he immediately called Bill. Something terrible will happen tonight. Then, the doctor slowly caressed the box. Listening, I'm down to just you. I need your help. You said we were friends. The one in the box isn't a monster, but the doctor's best friend, the wizard. They grew up together, but took two completely different paths. At this moment, the doctor recalled events from the Death Planet. The wizard is to be executed. After death, the body will be stored in the quantum folding room. In case of resurrection, to everyone's surprise, the execution must be conducted by another Time Lord. It's the doctor. I saw the mage was pushed out. He didn't knelt on the ground. However, when the doctor wanted to pull the lever, Missy unusually pleaded for mercy. I beg you, I will do anything. Just let me live. As the doctor hesitated, a priest approached. The executioner was allowed 5 minutes for visitation, but the priest took out a blue notebook. He then began to read. Virtue is just mercy in extreme situations. This is what he believed. This is the main reason. I love him, my husband. My madman is in the box, my doctor. Effectively, this is sent by the doctor's wife, specifically to prevent all 12 from making a grave mistake, but he showed no mercy. He walked over to Missy. Then he forcefully pulled the lever. The mage was instantly paralyzed by the current. His heart stopped. He died. And the doctor promised to guard this corpse for 1,000 years. But just as the execution was about to place the corpse in the box, Missy suddenly faked death. It turned out the doctor never intended to kill her. He had secretly adjusted the electric shock intensity logo, but the executioner insisted on executing the mage, only because she committed too many crimes. Realizing communication was impossible, the doctor showed him his death records. Not knowing what would be concerned, but check you. The executioner found the reports were endless. Whether it's the doctor's death or an earliest dating death, always accompanied the destruction of several planets, even the worst of entire star systems. Seeing this, the underlay is immediately flat. The executioner couldn't get a clear word out. Tail between his legs fled instantly, but as the members ended, the doctor in front of the box fell into deep confusion. How do I save them? All I see is darkness. Even the doctor in the Dea had a superhuman will. If the world is fake, he would struggle against it. If he himself is fake, he would sacrifice himself without hesitation. And as the doctor's best friend, Missy is not only a female Time Lord, but also a unique mage. She isn't as crazy as the mage from the 10th incarnation, but reveals a relatively vulnerable side. Compared to the black mage of the 13th and still the one between Missy and the 12th doctor that touches you more. They say there hasn't been a PhD after Okapo. What do you think? Welcome to Discuss, friends. The drama is for the romance in our hearts. I'm Augur, looking forward to our next meeting.